Welcome to another episode of Drunk Cop and a Teacher, the podcast where everything's made up and our comments don't matter, just like weirdly shaped chicken nuggets.
Oh, I saw that.
But it's not
Wait,
the first time we've seen it, right? They've done this before.
For that price, I think so.
There
can,
was like
can-
a.
clarify for me, please. What
Yeah, you don't know
nuggets?
shit.
Have you not seen the Among Us shaped chicken nugget that sold for $100,000?
On eBay.
What the fuck?
Yep.
But there was
Really?
there was like a Pokemon one like a few years back, right? It was like a Mew, and then there was like a Cheeto shaped one. Oh,
I
maybe-
remember the Cheeto. I don't remember that much selling for that much.
Still, like, who's buying this shit?
I don't know.
Mike, what did you do with it?
Wait, so people buy different types of shapes of chicken nuggets, and do they just save it or do they eat it?
No,
That's
it was
the question, right?
yeah, it was randomly. They don't. It was just, there was a random chicken nugget that looked like that. They put it on eBay and it was sold for that much. I don't know if they're gonna eat it or not.
But
But
that's the thing. Like, what do you do with it, right? You spent $100,000. You can't necessarily preserve it because it's going to eventually rot, and then you can't ice it. because of
McDonald's,
that.
I think you could.
But if you ice it, right? If you freeze it, it's going to devalue it. It's not worth $100,000 anymore. It's like what you're stuck. Like,
I
do you-
don't know, man. I'm not. Yeah, fuck it. I'm not doing that shit. But while we're on the topic, did you guys see the BTS meal?
sure.
Oh my god.
It's just how is it BTS? Like what? It's just a meal. There's
It is.
nothing.
Well, that's how the other things were. It
Well,
just
this was
like-
worse because the
No,
other one at
no,
least
no.
had something different.
No, he was just every single one of these meals has been like a regular meal. It's just with one thing added on it, like whether it's bacon or whether it's like Sprite with this on it or whatever. This one is just like, hey, we got two different types of sauces this time.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Like, oh my.
Yeah,
God.
BTS meal. You're talking about the one in McDonald's, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do they add it exactly?
Nothing.
Nothing.
That's what we're saying.
It's just
an
that
extra-
you get two
yeah.
sauces. You just get like it was a sweet chili or whatever, and I forget the other one. I don't know.
They need to bring back that Travis Scott meal back.
Oh my god, you're done. You're over it.
Also, if you're not giving me two sauces for a 10-piece, we got problems.
But what is the sauce though?
That's
It's
what I'm
just
trying to tell you. It's like
regular
a-
sauce. Whatever sauce you want. It's just a regular sauce.
It's like a sweet and sour sauce and Thai chili sauce, I think.
Oh, wait a
Mm.
minute. It's actually two different ones?
Yeah, it's two legitimately different sauces.
Oh, well, okay. Then maybe.
I mean, I do get sweet and sour when I get nuggets.
You're nasty. That's like the
shit.
worst.
What's wrong? I don't know about McDonald's sweet and sour, but just saying.
If I'm gonna dip into any sauce, that'll be that Chick-fil-A sauce.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah.
Nobody beats that
okay.
Chick-fil-A sauce. That's
Wait, are you talking shit or liking it? Hold up.
no, like I'm not talking shit. Like that shit is the shit. Like that's
Oh, okay.
good
I've
shit
got
right
bottles.
there.
I've got bottles.
All right.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
speaking of shit, Mike, how you been?
Shit. No, I've been good.
Damn.
I don't know. You guys knew this. I went to Georgia.
No.
I did not know that. No.
Yeah. We I went there for a wedding. We left here on a Friday, and we drove. That was my first time ever driving on a road trip like that, and that's going to be my last time driving back.
Try
I'm
doing it
just-
with two kids.
Oh, I don't know how you did that. You
Try
went to
doing it-
Tennessee, right?
No, well, no, we went to the very northern
Wow,
part of Georgia
Northern part. Oh, okay. So that was like an 8-hour, 10-hour drive, right?
at the very least.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Try
man.
doing it with almost no sleep. After
Oh, doing it with you is impossible.
I don't know.
No, but I had a lot of fun. I went there for a wedding on Saturday. Georgia was nice. We went
What
to
city?
Kennesaw.
Okay.
We
Wherever
stayed at
that is.
Kennesaw. It's like outside of Atlanta.
Everything's outside of Atlanta.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like, let me guess. Around Atlanta. Yeah.
Is it around Atlanta? You know, is it? You know, but
Here,
it was really
north,
cool.
south, east, west.
Somewhere.
Listen, specifics
No,
don't matter, Am. Come
It
on.
doesn't fucking matter. Okay, that's why we have that Apple shit. No, it was really cool. It was really nice. But it's just the drive back sucked. Like
Yeah.
I cannot imagine anybody enjoying that. I don't know. Like people really do like having road trips and stuff like that, but I
Road
can't.
trips are fun. It's just
Depends who you do it with.
I think going there is fine, but coming back
So,
it's probably a couple things. One, the first initial thing that people probably don't realize is that means like the end of your vacation is over, right? The end of whatever it is that you were doing that you were looking forward to having fun is already done and over. So you're
Yeah.
coming back home to responsibilities and all this other stuff. And then two, especially if you're driving back to Florida, like me, the traffic is shit.
yeah,
Oh.
it's really shit. Really bad.
That's why you do road trips at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Because technically, it was supposed to be like a 6-hour road trip, but the traffic was an hour.
Yeah, I believe it.
So, and then stopping to get gas, that took like 10 minutes tops. But of course, going to the bathroom and trying to find food and stuff like that. So it turned into an 8-hour trip. So next time I'm going to take an airplane.
That's fair.
Yeah, for real. Well, other than that, nothing new. I'm excited for what we're about to talk about in this podcast. With the Loki episode.
Okay.
You know, and
you didn't watch anything new outside of what we watched for this episode?
No, nothing new.
Okay.
Oh, let me get my list.
I was gonna say.
Oh my god!
Speaking of nothing new,
short. All right. Let me start. This motherfucker. I started a lot of new shows. Was it last week? Yeah. Oh, well, let me just say the one I didn't get to that looks really good. Sweet Tooth on Netflix.
Oh, you didn't get to that. Okay. Damn it.
Yeah, but I probably will finish it this week, but
I just want to get someone else's input on it. Like,
yeah,
I've read some of the reviews, and I'm just like curious.
The trailer looks phenomenal, and I saw that it's based off a DC comic, correct?
Yeah. Well, not DC superheroes, but it's a DC labeled comic. I think Vertigo under the DC property.
Interesting.
I remember that.
I started watching 3% on Netflix, which I've always wanted to watch, but because it's a Brazilian-based show with the subtitles, I was a little worried I wasn't going to get into it, but I am. It reminds me of sort of like the Hunger Games or one of those, what was the other one?
Survivor type of things.
Yeah, it's, what was that one with the guy, they're trapped in the place, whatever, escape something. The Divergent series,
sure.
All that stuff. Interesting. We'll see where it goes. And there's some stuff that caught my eye. Also, I started and finished IT Crowd. The IT Crowd. Nobody heard of that?
Never heard of it.
Nope.
It's a British show, and it has some up and coming people from almost 10 years ago. That was great. It was good. Started the other one, the Concords.
The question is, did you end?
Did I what?
Did you end? I don't fucking know where I'm taking this.
I did finish the IT Crowd. That's what I said. It was 5 seasons.
Oh, okay.
I finished that, and it was great. The Flight of the Concords. That has a lot of Aussie people. AKA,
where do you find these shows? That's the real question. Where do you find all these shows?
They're called
where do you watch
apps, HBO, Netflix.
See, he
Apple.
does what people should be doing on streaming apps, where you actually browse through things and watch them and watch them for yourself, not like follow people's reviews or just go by whatever's trending.
Or it's usually something I could never catch up or never had, like HBO.
The thing is, Cam has time for that.
That is true.
That is true. Also, I can do it during work. And
no wonder those orders get late.
This is the guy who plays Pokemon Go. Why he's supposed to be rescuing people?
Oh, yeah,
fuck the people.
Oh shit. Anything else? I think that's it for now. Also, I wanted poker last night, so yeah. Beep, 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 beep.
I don't believe that.
Well, sure, you better. Other than that, I think that's it. I'm sure as Sal starts talking, I'll remember something eventually. But
the question is, this Sal started his daily bugle.
Well, I can't technically do that until Father's Day, and only if I completed the Mega Block.
That's not
That's the
this
thing.
weekend. The next weekend, yeah.
But all right, so what did I watch? Before watching Conjuring, I finally got around to watching It Chapter 2. I did a
Oh.
double feature.
Ooh, nice.
I liked them both.
Yep.
I definitely like the second one a lot more
Oh,
than the first.
really?
Really?
Yeah, just because I
Huh.
felt like
Hmm.
each character in the second one was given a decent amount of character development in that movie, as opposed to the first one where you had moments for each one, but it was really heavily focused on Eddie and Bev, and a little bit on no, not Eddie. Well, who's the main kid? I keep forgetting his name. The one that his brother died first at the beginning of the movie.
I already forgot. I haven't
Oh,
seen that.
that's
It's not Mike, is it? That's like in the 80s.
fuck. That's
Mikey, right? No,
Billy.
Mike.
Billy.
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 Yeah. Okay. Regardless, right? It seemed like it only really those two for the majority of the movie. So I was like, it's good. Like the horror elements are there, and I'm sure like if I was in a movie theater, it would have been scary. But I think the second one I felt like did the characters more justice, and I thought like the people that they picked to portray the older version did like really portrayed like the younger kids. I was like, wow, like that's really spot on how they would react and stuff. So
There's one
I was
thing
really
that
pleased.
bothered me about the movie. I thought I liked chapter 2, but there was just one thing. I think it's a nitpick. It was what they did with the bully.
Kind of a pointless character, right?
Yeah,
Like,
very pointless. I thought there was gonna be more like tension building,
yeah,
but it
especially
was
with
just quick.
I was very curious on how the whole like you got a undead person, well, a zombie basically driving him around to his buddy
Yeah.
that was driving him around. Like, how do you like? Do you see that? Like, would they have seen that, or would they have just seen like the car drive itself? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was really weird, but I
I
don't
think
know.
they did it better in the original. Yeah.
I liked it though. I liked both.
Mhm. Yeah, it's really good. I know a lot of people. It wasn't a movie that how can I say fuck. Well, I know chapter 2 when it first came out, a lot of people were a bit disappointed that it wasn't better than the first one. But I am going to be on the same boat as you. I don't think it's better than the first one, but I still think it's an enjoyable movie.
I think the first one was just more charming with the kids and the dynamic.
I can see that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And then in order to make sure I know what I'm talking about for Conjuring 3, which we're going to talk about later.
Oh, which we need to discuss. I just remembered. Yeah.
Conjuring
I
1
had to
and
do
2.
the same thing.
If I had to give him a card,
Oh, I'm ready.
I'd give the first one a yellow card only because I do recall actually watching that movie in theaters and actually enjoying it. But when I was rewatching it, I was trying to figure out what exactly do I really like about this movie. I mean, it was fine. It was okay. It was your typical like kind of horror genre type of movie. So whatever. I give it a pass. Second one, that's a flat out red card. It's stupid.
Oh.
It's like the most tropiest of tropes. Like it is shit. It is like not even worth having. Just no.
Whoa.
Conjuring 2 could have been left out. So
This guy's on fire. Let me just real quick. First one, yellow. Yeah. Second one, it's comparable to the first. I don't know. I give it a yellow.
it was more obvious with like the whole there's a noise over there. Oh my gosh.
That's
Instead of
every fucking horror movie.
Yeah, it is. But this one was like every second of it. I was like, stop. Just stop doing this shit.
Well, what I did like in the second one, I did like where he's like with the camera, he's like, oh, light or whatever. I'm like, all right, that was kind of funny. But these are the Marvel version of movies, Marvel horror.
I guess so.
You know what I'm saying? They're vanilla. They're whatever. They're just there for most part. Like some Marvel movies, whatever. But
like, what would you give the first two movies?
Oh, go-karts.
Get the fuck out of here.
Legitimate go-karts or
gold cards?
just extra green?
No, legitimate go-karts. They're definitely in my top 5 like horror movies.
Oh, God.
Definitely like top 10. they're the definition of horror, in my opinion.
Oh,
They're great. No, it's true. I
No.
mean, no, it is true. You guys are not. You guys are completely wrong about it. Just say it, they're completely wrong. But I mean, that's your opinion. Take it as what it is. But it is a great
The
movie.
right ones,
I
yeah.
think these two movies are definitely the definition of creepy suspense, like on the edge of your seat, like holy shit. And when they finally revealed,
I think
and it's just like holy shit, like it's creepy.
Edge
And
of
it's
my
great.
toilet seat.
I
Ham,
mean,
correct
like
me-
I'm not anything from Ham. Like I wasn't honestly,
Yeah.
I was expecting like a red because Ham is just.
Yeah, me
I don't
too.
know.
I was not expecting yellow out of Ham.
Yeah, I don't
I give
know.
it a pat. They're
But-
not bad, but they're not good.
Here's
But
what
I just can't take your review seriously in horror movies. That's why. Like I don't know.
Because I judge them so critically.
I don't know why though.
Well, okay, so hold on. First of all, what I think The Conjuring comes in, and you guys have to correct me if I'm wrong on the timeline of this, because in the horror genre was not really like, there was like a huge gap, I feel like, in film history where horror genre was just, it's all about the gore, the blood, the slasher. Like that's all it was focused on. I think that's where Saw came in, where that's all it was focused on, that over
late
and over and
2000s.
over again.
It
Then
was
we
Late
had
2000s.
we had other movies that were just about gore and about blood and about cutting people up, and it was like that for the longest time. But then now in comes The Conjuring, where it's like, oh, that suspense, that like, I don't know what's around the corner, I don't know what's in that dark, I don't know what that looks like. That built fear. And I do remember, and I think that's why when I first watched it in theaters, I enjoyed it, because it was a nice actual like re-entry into the horror genre, as opposed to just here's another like, blood and a blood slasher film that I'm just tired of watching at this point. So I can kind of see why people like really kind of put Conjuring high up there and why it's built this universe, because it has, for me, in my point of view, where I just think it's come in at a proper time where it brought the horror genre back to where it needed to be.
Yeah, that's why I like it. I've seen The Conjuring and 1 and 2. I think max 15 times. I just love it.
What?
I love it. It's great. It's good, man. It's
Ham-
good.
What does Ham put at the top of his horror genre
Oh
pedestal?
my God, I don't
Becky.
know. What do you say? I don't even hear.
Becky, you said Becky.
No, that's a survival thing.
Surviving, trying to stay watching the whole movie.
Horror. Yeah, I couldn't even tell you because I just hate all of them. Remember some of the Hellraisers being good.
Oh yeah. What was it? There's Red Rum. There's Chucky.
Oh
Nightmare
yeah,
on Elm
that's
Street,
actually really
Freddy.
good.
Old school. We're talking Child's Play, right?
Yeah, Child's Play could get ridiculous. The first one for sure. Other ones are just stupid, I think.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
All the Leprechauns are stupid.
Yeah,
Uh,
but I bet you enjoy them though.
no.
Mm.
all the creatures are stupid.
What about Wrong Turn?
I actually didn't see that.
I saw it. It was.
The first one, at least. The second
I
one.
mean,
I
I've heard
never
good-
saw the sequels.
I've heard good things about it being all right.
All right. What
It was
about
fine.
Evil Dead?
Which
No, that's
one?
campy though. That's campy and just like
Yeah, but
gore
which
stuff.
one though? Right, the original or the remake?
Let's talk about let's talk about the reboot, because the original one is great. I don't know if you guys like it. I love
Yeah,
it.
the original was good.
Yeah. What about Ham? Ham, do you think it's too campy?
It is campy, but it's supposed to
It's
be
supposed to
campy.
be campy. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi's, that's kind of like his thing.
The
But-
new one I liked. I mean, I didn't like it, but I just liked that it was a little bit more updated. That's it. Like, just put
Right.
Bruce Campbell as the main character, and I probably would have liked it better. But it was not great.
I thought it was fine.
I thought it was great.
I think just Mike really loves horror movies, and
yes, and
do
I really
too.
hate them.
You really do, and I'm like in the middle. I'm like, horror movies, like some of them are okay, some of them are bad, and
I want to say the latest horror movie I saw that was bad was the reboot of Child's Play. Oh, never mind. La Llorona. That was bad.
All right.
And
Oh,
that's and that is connected to The Conjuring.
That
Yep.
is
To
Okay, we
to
can get
Annabelle.
back on the subject here.
Okay,
Topic.
all right. Let's just keep this moving forward because I feel like we could just keep bitching about this for all
Oh, I
day.
can. Yes.
We got kind of
Mhm.
4 major topics to talk about. Some will obviously take longer than others, and a few headlines. I wanted to keep the headlines short, just because the 4 big ones we have to talk about is one of them about Netflix and their shows.
Yep.
The other one, Loki. The first episode came out. We all had a chance
Mhm.
to watch it. The third one would be about The Conjuring, part 3, and then the last thing we'll talk about is some of the I think more interesting things that came out of the Apple keynote, because it was an hour and 45 minutes long, and I wish I didn't watch an hour and 30 minutes of it. But the first part of it, the iOS stuff, I think is the most interesting, and there's something that I wanted to bring to Ham's attention for sure, because Ham, the son of a bitch did it. They did something we've been talking about for years. So yeah, so we'll get there when we get there, but let's go into the headlines first. The first one that I have on my list, Jurassic World Dominion will get a 5-minute extended preview in theaters right before you watch Fast and Furious 9. And I think that's only for specific IMAX
Is that
screens too.
this week or next week? Oh, IMAX. Fuck.
Yeah, so if you want to see a little bit of a teaser for Dominion, you can just go watch Fast 9 on IMAX, or just wait till someone
Does
records it and
4D
puts on
count
YouTube.
too?
I don't think so.
Or just sneak in right before the movie starts and then leave after.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Or just wait on YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm sure
Yeah.
someone's gonna upload it to YouTube. But it's exciting though, because I think I'm sure Mike and I are still on this Jurassic World high.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Velocicoaster, and then I
That's a
showed
middle
you
finger if
guys
you didn't see it.
the pictures of the store, the tribute store that they have at Universal, which is
Oh, that's awesome.
mind blowing. It was so cool. So, all right, next one. The next few are actually all video. Well, I know. Let me do one more movie one before we do the video game ones. Cruella 2 is already in development at Disney.
Saw that.
So already
Knew
doubled
it.
down on it. Wondering if it's just going to be a light adaptation of 101 Dalmatians, but
Which there already is.
but like as I mentioned in my talk about it, like it's their own version, so I don't think people should go in with the expectation of it's going to be a straight 1-for-1 adaptation. Maybe, I don't know. That's just my assumption.
I mean, that's what they've been doing, but this is technically still Cruella and not 101. So we'll see.
Then I think they're just gonna do 100.
Sure.
Ratchet and Clank Drift Apart came out on PS5. The only thing I just wanted to bring up here is that it's been getting nothing but stellar reviews on it. Like everyone's been
awesome.
praising the game.
I have a PS5.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
PS
like,
what now?
this all would have been great, but none of us have a PS5 yet. So
It's gonna be almost a year, and I'm like, you still can't get them.
it's what bugs me though is that I was almost willing to cough up money for a PS5 because of Horizon Forbidden West, but because it was announced for PS4, I'm just like,
Exactly.
I could wait.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
got time.
next one. Just really quick, want to thank these gentlemen for giving me an avenue to bitch about things, because this next headline just gives me more to bitch about this company.
Yeah, sure.
Ubisoft reportedly working on Tom Clancy PvP game that combines Splinter Cell, The Division, and Ghost Recon. The name appears to be Battlecat, which allows players to take on a role within one of 4 prominent Tom Clancy universe factions, such as the Echelon from Splinter Cell, the Wolves from Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and the Cleaners and Outcasts from The Division. Each faction will have their own specific playstyle. The only thing I just want to say is, fuck you, Ubisoft. Just give me a fucking Splinter Cell game. Just fuck you.
What?
They're still in business? I forgot.
What? So what is? How does this game play like? Like what?
It sounds like just like a battle royale type of game.
That's
but
what
you just...
I was thinking, but
It sounds like For Honor for some reason, but with like shooting.
Yeah, that actually that would make sense, right? Because they did For
Mhm.
Honor, right? That's their game. So why not just copy the same thing, just different play styles? That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of swords, they're gonna do it with
Guns.
guns. Yep. So wow, okay. Sure. That's weird.
Can you hear that?
But why are they not like going for a Splinter Cell game?
I don't know.
Everybody's asking for it.
That's what irritates me. That's what irritates me. Is like I don't understand why they don't recreate or at least remaster the Splinter Cell games. Like something with
At
the
least
Splinter Cell
remaster,
IP that you have done nothing but just use that character in other games.
But I will say this though, we have seen a lot of Splinter Cell. How can I say? He's in Rainbow.
That's what I'm saying. The crossovers, yeah,
Crossovers.
He's in other games.
He's in other games, and I think they're sort of hyping it up a little bit, right? And then in the next year or so, we're gonna get a Splinter Cell game. Just keep that in mind. Just
maybe they're just making a open world Splinter Cell game.
How does that work?
I don't know, man.
Isn't that just a division?
Yeah, that is true.
Oh god, that sneak mission. Don't get me started.
Right. Well, on the topic of new games, Battlefield 2042 was officially announced just today, actually this morning, and it is coming in October. The short excerpt that I got from here was announced in a reveal stream today. The game features 128 player multiplayer matches on PC and on new gen consoles. On new gen consoles as well. However, on PS4 and Xbox One, it'll only stay at 64 players. And builds environmental disasters into its matches, including sandstorm, tornadoes, and more. The first direct gameplay will be shown on June 13th, presumably as part of E3 2021. Did you guys get to watch this trailer?
No, not yet.
I was working and I had no signal. I tried to watch the beginning of it.
It's a 4.5-minute long trailer.
Mhm.
It was all running on in-game engine footage, which is good because it's not necessarily a computer-generated, cinema. I don't even know what word I'm trying to go for.
Cinematography.
Sure.
I'm the teacher now.
Everything looked awesome. Everything looked promising. It's got a lot of people hyped. The social media reactions, people are losing their shit about this game. But again, as always, as we have learned from our past, it comes down to how does it play? What's the gameplay actually like? So we'll see that at E3. And as if there's going to be microtransactions, because this is, of course, EA. So
yeah, I'm excited. I've been dying for a good Battlefield that's actually like modern or future.
I've been done with the series Battlefield, Call of Duty. I'm just like, I'm over it.
128 player multiplayer matches though. That's seems
intense.
Insane.
Yeah, very overwhelming. But let's see how it is though. I'm excited. I can't wait to see a lot more gameplay.
So before we go into the Netflix thing, that's pretty much it as far as headlines go. E3 is around the corner, so next week we'll be talking a lot about E3 games. Hopefully, there'll be a lot to talk about. There's a lot of hype and build up going into for Microsoft's sake. There's the Halo, of course, Infinite that supposedly they're going to show multiplayer part of it. And then there's I think people are just very, very curious as far as what Bethesda is going to bring out because of the Fallout 76 disaster that it had. So I think out of everything E3, the biggest spotlight is probably Microsoft. I don't know, I'm just throwing this out there. What's very weird though is that PlayStation hasn't said anything.
It's hiding.
But
it's
hiding. Why? Because
nobody could get a PS5.
Yeah, right. Sure. They don't have a PS5 for the event. Think about that. No, but also,
stupid.
When does E3 actually start? True. Because we'll be
this Saturday, I believe.
This Saturday?
Yeah, this Saturday.
Okay. So
it's this weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm just wanting to be excited about games again because I haven't felt excited about games in a long time. And
almost a year.
Hopefully, this E3, I don't know, brings something good out of it.
Hopefully, because right now video games have been dead.
That's true.
And I'm about to finish Red Dead Redemption. Speaking of video games and dead, yeah.
All right, let's move into our first big topic here. I don't remember if this is something I just caught wind of or if this was something Ham brought up to me. I think it came in lieu of the fact that Jupiter's Legacy was canceled already.
That was me.
It's not getting a second season. However, it's getting a spin-off show about its villains, which doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. It is what it is. But the article here that I'm trying to pull up is called "Here's Why Netflix Cancels Shows So Quickly Now." So it it's a compilation of different interviews and different like data points as to how Netflix determines what goes on for further seasons and how they put money into it. So we're just going to go through this bullet point by bullet point. There's really 4 big ones here. So we'll start with this first one. Plainly put, the first reason a Netflix show gets canceled is a traditional one. It's based on a viewership versus cost of renewal review process, which determines whether the cost of producing another season of a show is proportionate to the number of viewers that the show receives. So just in general viewership, right? If more people watch it, then yes, they're going to invest in it. They're going to put a second season on it. However, if like a fraction of what they expect watches it, they're not going to care too much about it. They're going to cancel it.
Yeah,
Yes,
but what is that number, or what?
That's the problem too, is that Netflix doesn't reveal the numbers. So
which is weird, but
who knows how that
Probably,
means.
probably they look for maybe the max like 1 million views.
I mean, I don't. That could
I'm
change
sure like
very...
1 million views compared to what, $1 million. I don't know. That doesn't make sense because it costs a lot of money. So
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a generic one, right? It's how all
Yeah.
shows are usually determined. It's like, hey, we got a
Yes.
lot of people. Let's keep doing this. The second way Netflix decides if a show will continue is based on some viewership data points. Specifically, it looks at 2 data points within the first 7 days and the first 28 days of a show being available on the service. The first is starters, or households who watch just 1 episode of a series. The second data point is completers, or subscribers who finish an entire season. So those that just watch a couple episodes in, or those that actually finish the entire series of the show. Makes sense, I guess. Yeah.
I'm going to say the first one gets a lot more than the last one you said.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess, yeah.
The final metric is watchers, which is the total number of subscribers who watch a show. Netflix, which employs a cost plus model, which means that it pays a show's entire production costs plus a 30% premium on top, is even more wary when it comes to possibly losing money, despite its reputation for throwing gobs of cash at the likes of, and then it mentioned like a whole bunch of celebrities that it had on there. One of them being like Adam Sandler, I think got paid like a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, well, he announced. Yeah, they announced his deal, how much he was getting paid to make the whatever 4 or 5 movies for Netflix.
And there's a couple of sub bullet points to this. Shows on Netflix are more expensive after season 2 and even more expensive after season 3, with the premiums going up each season. They have to give a show more money per series, and if they decide to recommission it, it becomes more expensive for them to make, he says. Because of that, so many more shows are canceled after 2 series or 2 seasons because it costs them more. Because if you think about it, right, if they just upload the entire thing, they have to pay for the entire cost of that series.
Yeah.
But that's I have a headache. I don't know. It just seems confusing to me. I don't know.
Pretty basic.
Well,
I mean, it's not pretty basic. It's just like you have a certain amount of budget to make the first season, and if it's really successful, they do the same amount, but they're going to put a little bit more budget into the second season. But it's not going towards the show; it's going towards
the actors, basically at that point.
Yeah, at that point. So at the same time, they're kind of, I don't know. I feel like they're kind of fucking themselves over.
Well, there are, and I think there's one more thing. Well, there's another bullet point here, and then there's one more thing that I think wasn't kind of has something to do with it, but we'll get there. So let me read this last bullet point. Now, there's one more thing to consider, and it's totally tethered to the subscription and streaming model. As Deadline explains, if a show hasn't grown significantly in popularity over seasons 2 or 3, then Netflix thinks that it's unlikely to gain any new viewers. So when a show stops growing in viewers and or pulling in new subscribers, and that doesn't necessarily mean dropping subscribers, it can just plateau, then Netflix doesn't see a reason to keep it. So a show could be acceptably popular and hold a large fan base, but if it's lost its initial swell and doesn't bring in new eyes, it'll be gone. So basically, if it doesn't hold popularity after season 2 or 3, it's gone. It's cut out.
So, okay, for an example, look at Lucifer. They did...
Yeah, but that was originally Fox.
Yeah, but up to 2 seasons, and then the rest was Netflix. So
how many seasons does it have?
Right now it has 5.
Was it just 2?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's going to get canceled pretty soon because they're putting a lot more money and.
If I would use an example, I would say maybe Stranger Things, because
That's what I was thinking. The first thing that popped
technically
in my head.
Stranger Things should be kind of on the verge of getting canceled because it's not
Well, this is the
popular
last
anymore.
season.
Oh, they already announced it's the last season?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, then if that's the case, then that kind of proves it, right? Because Stranger
Mhm.
Things is not popular. I think in the third season, I mean, I never watched it, but people would always talk about it. In the third
Oh.
season, I don't hear much people talking about anything from the third season. And then I don't hear people talking about the fourth season or getting excited about it. So it makes sense for it to kind of end or get canceled at that point.
But also with Stranger Things, I think they can get away with not paying the kid actors that much money. Well, now they're getting older, and it's like, yeah, we want our money, and then
Yeah.
no, cancel.
The other thing that I think, I don't know if it was mentioned because it was a long article about all this, but
Oh, actually,
Netflix
sorry.
is trying to grow, obviously, its subscriber base.
Yes.
They have to basically try anything and everything. And that's a shit ton of money that they're just experimenting with. And of course, they're not going to
Mhm.
like that's a lot for them to kind of budget all across. Like if they have 100,000 shows, they're like, yeah, we don't really have money to continue on seasons 2 and 3 for 100,000 shows. So we're going to take like the bottom 25% and say, yeah, forget you guys. We're not going to renew you. And that way they have money to kind of divvy up against the other shows. Because I think that's what's kind of hurting Netflix right now is that they're trying everything and they have all these originals. And like they said, they promised a new original something every single week.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of fucking money to cough up. And, are the subscribers that they're getting or are their recurring subscribers really, is that enough for them to continue on paying for all these shows? Which is why we get so many of these announcements of these cancellations.
Like that zombie one I liked.
Which one was it?
The high school zombie apocalypse. Matthew
Don't-
Broderick was in it.
Nah, I don't know who's
Was
that.
the teacher? No.
No, sorry.
He doesn't know who that is. Great.
But anyways, also too, I wanted to clarify this. Stranger Things, it is getting renewed for season 5.
Yeah, because I was
Interesting.
wondering. They wanted to go to 5. They weren't sure if they could ever
Yeah.
get up to 5 seasons. So I was.
And then also too, going back to what Sal said, I'm always thinking about that of how are these streaming services getting money, right? It's because of those subscribers and everything like that and blah blah blah. But the amount of money that they put towards in their shows and movies and everything, I feel like eventually they're gonna run out of ideas or they're gonna run out of just I don't know, just good content that these subscribers are going to cancel and just go on to another subscription of another streaming service. And I feel like Netflix it's sort of becoming that way now. I don't know. I just can't find like okay, you know how we joke around with you, Ham, that like you have time to watch all these different shows and stuff. The thing is to like for me and Sal is that we just try to go look for like the most popular thing because like I don't want to waste my time on watching like a dumb show, and it's just like that kind of ruins my night. It's just like fuck, I wish I saw something else, you know. So usually like that's why like in the end of the night, where I'll be like going down through like Netflix, and in the end, I'll just go back to probably watching Hulu or HBO or something because there's nothing on Netflix for me to really watch, except for Grey's Anatomy, but that's not Netflix.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that. Like, yeah, I want to be specific in what I watch. I mean, I barely watch anything compared to you guys, and I my time is valuable to me, and so if I'm gonna pick something, it needs to be something worth my time. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be pissed about it. And Netflix, I think, suffers from having something reoccurring to watch because I would be interested to see what numbers were like back when it had Friends or when it had The Office, right? Because The Office is no longer on there, where you had people at least watching these shows again and again and again, and so they were at least getting viewership numbers. But now that they're there, now that they're not there anymore, it's like, well, what now? What happens? Because I always go to Disney Plus if I want to just keep rewatching reruns of Boy Meets World. I can go to HBO Max if I just want to keep rewatching reruns of Friends, or whatever other streaming service. At least they have something for me to always want to watch, as opposed to Netflix. It's like, well, it's like I'm going to go out and seek something new, because that's really all that there is at this point for Netflix for me.
But this is the problem with Netflix, or for Netflix, is they had those shows, but now all these companies like, well, we technically own those shows, so why don't we just make a streaming service and have those shows so everyone can rewatch? And each company is like taking a bite from Netflix, like one here, one there, and now it's just trying to do new shows, like I guess throwing the money and be like, let's see if only just catches on to this so we can just keep, But yeah, I mean that's technically the opposite point I kept talking about with Disney, where they are trying to put content out there, but one after another, not everything at the same time, so they have something new and get new people in just to keep watching new episodes, which they release weekly, which it's good and positive, or negative and positive aspects of that, but their strategy seems to be working.
So it was just interesting. Finally, we get at least some clarity on the whole Netflix thing, because it is like you see those articles more popping up recently, especially last year, where it's like Netflix is canceling this. Because I don't see any more of like, here's what's coming to Netflix. No, it's here's what Netflix is canceling.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's several things to consider when Netflix chooses their shows. All right, let's before we go into an intermission, let's talk a little bit about Loki. Loki had its first episode premiere today on Disney Plus. It's going to be streaming every Wednesdays, and anywhere from 30 minutes to 5 hours. I don't know what each episode's going to be anymore. This one was about 50, right? 51, I think, 51 or 52.
Minus the 7 minutes of credits.
Oh, at the end, yeah.
So we'll kind of do our traditional setup, cards all around, and then we'll go into a spoiler-filled discussion of the show, although we'll be somewhat brief because it is the very first episode, and we like to kind of wait to discuss the whole thing, of course, until we watched all episodes, which I believe this season will have 8 episodes in it.
Okay.
Last I saw. So cards first, Mike?
Green.
Ham?
I guess green. There's some stuff I like, but some stuff was a little slow, maybe.
I'm gonna give it a yellow. I could be talked into a green, but
it's the first episode. I mean,
it is, but like I don't want to also just give it a green because it's an MCU thing and it's because it's Loki. Because I think there's who hates Loki? Like at this point, like who really hates Tom Hiddleston and Loki? There's not a single human planet, unless they're stupid, that hates Loki. So, I don't want to give it a green card just because of those reasons. So, I guess we'll start with you guys.
Tell me why the reasons for the yellow.
Yeah, well, we'll start with you guys first. So, Mike, what do you want to say about the first episode?
I want to say it was fun. Like I think out of all the other shows, and I'm not trying to compare them, but this one was the most. It's definitely a lot more comedy in the beginning, and then towards in the middle, it was a little dragged on with the whole with the spoilers, of course. Sorry, guys. Actually, are we doing spoilers? Because I don't want to.
Yes, spoilers.
Oh, okay, spoilers. Well, him, dragging on and talking to the guy, but I felt like that was such great dialogue, and it definitely made me like Loki a lot more. I already liked Loki, but I really did like, because this is evil Loki that he has no idea what the hell why is he in trouble? He's like, what the hell am I, like, what the hell did I do? And I liked it. Of course, I think the ending dragged on and it was a little bit all over the place, but then it was like a little bomb drop of who could be the killer, who could be this, who is the person that they're looking for, and apparently it's him. But that's the part that's a little bit confusing, because I think this is the show that's going to be talking about multiverse, and they did bring it up.
Yes,
they did bring it up. So I'm interested. I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it. And I'm intrigued. And I think every character in this first episode did a great job, especially Owen Wilson. I was very so hats to him. Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Okay, Ham.
And I'll go in reverse order of what he just said. Owen Wilson. It's a little weird. It's like Owen Wilson in the Marvel Universe.
Mhm.
Okay, but I mean, whatever. Uh,
It's a little weird to have Owen Wilson in Marvel Universe, but not Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
oh yeah, that is weird too. Yeah, fair. No, yeah, they're both weird. Um, them announcing that Loki was the bad guy or a different Loki, like out of was sort of. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll see how that works. I was like, oh, is he actually gonna say who the villain is? We don't have to wait 6 or 7 episodes. I'm like, oh, Agatha, or oh, I don't know, the government. I don't know.
But I'm surprised
So
they didn't show his face though.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll see what that actually entails and all that. I did like the banter between Loki and shit. What did he say? He said it once, I think. What's his name?
Mobius.
Mobius. All right, we'll just say Moby. So yeah, him and Moby, good banter. I like how he was trying to figure out Loki and him realizing himself, Loki, and the epiphany of the Infinity Stones. Yeah, we just use them as paperweights. Like, and he's like, oh, what? So that was interesting. I like that internalization and all that. Everything else was okay. I like. Well, no, I don't like. I just think it's funny they had to recap, the end game part. And yeah, end game. I was like, whoever's watching this knows this. If not, no.
Yeah.
I've said this before about the end game whole movie. I'm like, who? Why do you need a trailer? No one's coming in. Last movie of the Marvel Cinematics, whatever, Part 4. You know what? I haven't seen any of it. This trailer looks good. I'm gonna watch this one. You don't, no. So that's just a little
Well,
side thing, but
just to slightly counter that, I mean, if you take a movie like Shang, I'm always going to mispronounce it, so I apologize. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, you could kind of go into that. Like someone brand new could be like, "Oh, this looks like a cool movie." Go into it, and then once they probably start doing all these heavy references, be like, "What? There's a universe around this," and then go back and rewatch the whole thing.
maybe. I mean, Marvel's been out for how many years? It's like, yeah, this is a movie that's gonna be like, I'm gonna have to watch all of them. Be interesting, but
So 10 years, right?
Yeah.
yeah, over now. What are we? Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if that recap was necessary.
It was just more of his reaction.
Yeah,
No,
it seemed like they filmed a couple of extra tidbits for
Really?
his facial, because there was moments like in the elevator, and then like when they were doing the whole briefcase scene where it just isolated on his face, and he had like he did a facial expression, right, to react to the moment, but it
Mhm.
seemed
Yeah.
like those were filmed separately, of course, than the entire movie, like
I'd
just
like
to
to
kind
know
of give
that,
more
yeah.
a little bit more depth into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you think? Like, I don't know if I don't think none of us convinced you to.
Yeah.
go
What's
with
the yellow
green.
man?
No,
But
like it's just because the thing is, like, I feel like if I give it a green card, it is really just because of all the things you said, right? It's Loki. We get to see this banter with Mobius, which is great. We get to a lot of these references to Avengers and to the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially when they recap Thor and Thor Dark World, and what his moments were in those things. And it's, for me, like this it's a good episode. It's a solid episode. So the yellow, don't think of it as like a negative thing. It's just that it's nothing but just exposition, like details. Like I kind of figured the premise from the trailer, right? We already knew kind of going in what this was kind of be
Yeah.
about, like a whole little time traveling thing, and Loki was probably going to be recruited to do something. And so all we got here was just all the finer details as to, okay, well, how does this time traveling thing work, or what is the time keepers do, who is Mobius? Like, we just got all these necessary background things that are like, oh, okay, now moving forward, what are we gonna get? So it
Mhm.
was just I don't know how to explain it.
I was cautious with WandaVision. I did say I'm like, we'll
So
see.
that's the thing where I feel like this show would have benefited from doing the episode 1 and 2 back to back. Whereas
Hmm.
opposed to WandaVision, where I still stand by what I said, the first episode was completely pointless. And they should have just done the second episode and then given us episode 3 right after
Mm.
that. Because that at least, like, you get your exposition, right? You get all your details, your
Yeah,
background, and now you get to play. That's what I kind of felt like with this
yeah,
episode. It's like, here's the rules. Let me read you the rules really quick. Did you get all that? Okay, now go ahead and play. But we didn't really get to see the play part of it, except for that stinger at the end where it's like, oh, okay, he's the villain. Okay, that's interesting take. Let's see where this goes. But it ends it right there. So
yeah. They
it
gave you
just
your veggies first.
basically.
Yeah.
So like it's good exposition though. It is necessary. It is definitely needed for a lot of people that want this clarity, that definitely want like how does this fit into the whole timeline of things. And I think that that funny video Miss
I was gonna,
Minutes, I think it was,
yeah.
where it explains the time variance and stuff was good. Like it was
I was
good,
gonna say
but
the opposite. I was like, it was just weird that it was there, and I'm like,
like
it was weird.
if it wasn't for that last stinger bit where he said, "Oh, the villain is you," I
Mhm.
don't think I would have been like very anxious to see the second episode. I would be
Yeah,
like, "Oh, okay, cool. So this is what it's like." And then I'll be like, "All right, well, it's episode 2. Well, oh, hey, it's episode 2. Cool." But now I'm like, oh, "Okay, I want to know more about why Loki is the villain." So now I'm more intrigued. So for me, it just didn't really feel like it was much of a pull forward as it was just like laying the foundation, which there's nothing
Oh,
wrong with that. But again, I just don't want to give it a green card just because of Tom Hiddleston. Like that would just be too easy of a green card.
yeah. It's like getting in a car, starting the engine, and then about to hit the pedal. No, psych, turn the car off. Then turn the car back on. About to hit the pedal, and nope. That's
I
basically, I
I
think,
don't
what the
hate
episode
it. Like I
was.
don't have anything negative to say about it. Like I think
Just
the
the
pacing
structure of
was
the episode.
fine. It was just nothing. No, not even the structure. Everything was fine. It was just not enough for me to kind of want to be looking forward to that next episode.
Mm,
That's why I said like I really wish they did a 2 episode back
yeah,
to back on this one to really get me hooked in. I think like Tom Hiddleston stands, of course, are going to be obsessed with this and already
of
instantly in love
course.
with this show. And I get that. Like Loki fans, even like just not even Tom Hiddleston fans, just Loki fans. Yeah, this is great. But I just wanted something a little bit more to keep me more intrigued about this than what I
Yeah,
got from the trailer.
yeah. I'm just gonna watch my Easter egg episode, and hopefully that
There's
enlightens
there's
me.
there's quite a bit. There's
Yeah,
quite a bit.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Like I said, if this is the rules, then now we get to play and hopefully remember the rules as we go through the rest of the series. And yeah, hopefully it'd be
And
fun.
we're still talking about Disney Plus. Are you still on Bad Batch, or did you start that?
I haven't watched the last couple episodes,
Okay,
so
all
I'm a
I
right.
little
haven't
behind.
even started.
I don't know if I'm gonna start.
I'm going to start, but the question is when I'm going to start.
Well, before we start our next topic, Mike,
Let's hit that intermission.
I don't
I don't
understand
like that
why
one.
and when you
That one was
choose
bad,
things. Like
man.
I don't, that was random. He wasn't prepared. That's why.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Let's hit that intermission.
That was stupid.
I don't know what you want from me, man.
The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, which is not just the title of this movie, but also the title of Ham's autobiography when that gets published.
Yep. Absolutely right.
Ham made me do it.
Part 362 of the Conjuring cinematic universe that they have built, as Han was mentioning earlier, because there's The Nun, there's La Llorona, there's Annabelle. There's
Which-
2 movies of Annabelle, right? There's 2
Which
of
yeah,
them.
no. So
There's
no,
three.
no. I'm gonna say it now. How the fuck did they build a better cinematic universe than DC? Fucking this first movie already had plans for the spin-off of Annabelle, And I'm like, holy shit, that was in that movie. Now it's in this movie. I watched the timeline of everything, and then their second sequel also had another spin-off.
Yep.
And I'm
Oh,
like,
I know why. Because
money?
Warner Brothers, is not part of it.
I guess because then and then
And
they
Zack
have
Snyder didn't direct the movie.
Oh, that's true.
another
That's the big
spin-off,
win.
La Llorona. So I'm like, what spin-off are they doing in this movie that I didn't really like look into or
Oh,
whatever?
easily. We can bring that up later.
Yeah, help me
All
because
right.
I was really paying attention.
So it just continues the investigations of Ed and Lorraine Warren. So I'm not going to read the synopsis here, but I will give the reviews that's been given about it so far. IMDb gives it a 6.5 out of 10.
Ooh.
Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 59%.
Ooh.
Metacritic 53%.
Oh,
Ooh.
And I don't know what Ham's been doing, probably
Uh-oh.
offering free drinks to everybody because 93% like this movie.
the fuck?
Wow.
Those are
You mean
your
the
Google
opposite.
buddies, man.
That's your buddy, bro. That's your buddy.
I guess I lost that bet.
So people liked it and one didn't.
All right, so The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me
Mhm.
Do It. We'll do cards first, and then we'll go into a spoilers-filled discussion about what we like and disliked about the movie. So, Mike,
Yeah, sure. Yellow.
Ham,
Red.
I'm gonna give it a yellow.
Hmm.
So
I'm surprised. Oh, we joined forces at once.
Who wants to go first?
Earlier in the episode, we did mention I love The Conjuring 1 and 2, and I
Mhm.
was very excited to watch this one. And I want to say like it does have that creepy feeling and stuff like that, but it lacks on jump scares. It lacks, in my opinion, that in that intensity that 1 and 2 had. But I do like the characters in this movie. I think that's what Lorraine and Ed, the Wilson, and what's the other actress's name? I forgot.
Fuck
Who
if
played
I know.
Lorraine?
Yeah,
Vera Farmiga.
Yeah, Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson. They do carry the movie, and
Yeah.
they're just great. I loved it, and of course you do have like this other side story where it's not the side story. It's supposed to be the main story, but it does get lost with the investigation
Yeah.
of this character, and it at first it's like sort of it just kind of it kind of feels misplaced, but it's there. There's times where it's just like it's intriguing, and there's times it's just like plain obvious of what's going to come out and how it's going to end up.
Wait, which
And
character are you talking about?
Ari,
Arnie?
Arnie, yeah,
Okay.
Arnie, yeah, where I just feel like they didn't really handle that really well. It just felt like more of a side story instead of it being the main thing, where the investigation just took over a lot more than
Okay.
than
I can see
Arnie.
that.
But that's just me. But overall, and also too, like the witch, it's on and off. Like she'll come on screen and then she'll come off, and stuff like that. And in the end, it was more of like a cat and mouse trick and stuff. And I thought it was going to be a little bit more, but like I said, it's supposed to be a true story, so I don't know if that part is true. But regardless, though, I wasn't bored. I was entertained the whole entire time. But of course, like I was just a little disappointed of just the intensity of like how 1 and 2 has, but I still think it was a solid movie. I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. So that's my yellow card.
All right, Ham.
Also, I just remembered in the second one, that CGI was awful.
In Conjuring 2?
The whatever guy, the
Old man?
yeah, whatever it was, the tent dude. He was in the
Oh,
tent.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That was awful.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah.
God, I thought fucking what's his name? Tim Burton showed up and did some stock motion film. God damn,
Gold
I just
card.
remembered that.
All right, Ham. So why do you hate this movie?
I
Besides
think
it
I
being a
was
horror
bored.
movie.
I was bored. They took the focus away from, I guess, the main story, and then had little side stories trying to find the girl, trying to what else? Then the witch comes out. The witch's dad. I'm just like, this doesn't. I mean, I guess this does have to do with the main story, but they're not like the first one and second one, not with the family, the quote unquote entire time. Uh, it just felt all over the place. Um, why did I? Well, like the father is like, oh, and then it's like, oh, I had her. It was she was here the entire time. It's like, what, what? And like, he basically had her locked up too, right?
Yeah, what was that about, Mike? I
I
was a
don't
little
know. It's
confused.
not even explained well.
So apparently, what the pastor was that he had a daughter that he was hiding from the church because
Right.
since he's the pastor, he cannot have children, he cannot have any type of relationship. So the things that the church were afraid of, they will give it to him and they will keep it in the storage, and he kept his daughter in the
Secret, right?
storage.
Okay.
So that's how she
I,
studied, the
Underground
black
tunnels and everything.
underground
Yeah.
tunnels and like the black art, and where she
Yeah.
was more fanatic on that part instead of the church.
so how was she leaving those things?
Well, because they were the underground tunnels, I guess, just took her right out, like right outside the houses, and she just
There
left
are a
those things.
bunch of
Although
okay.
it wasn't very clear though why she picked those specific families, right?
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
wasn't
they
it wasn't
mentioned the
clear.
lover, the child, and the man of
Yeah,
God.
it wasn't clear, but the thing is, what the old man did say is that the question why is irrelevant with
Yeah.
these people. They just pick. They don't need a reason.
Mm.
Yeah, and what was the reasoning of her, doing the, I guess, curse to begin with?
They
Summoning
mentioned
a
it's the,
demon, right?
it's just summoning a demon, and it's just like more of
But why?
a fanatic. It's just that's what it
Just to
is.
cause chaos,
Yeah,
just plainly
That's a
because.
stupid reason. Uh,
somebody's scared.
um, when Mike was talking about it originally, I thought he said it was a prequel, and I'm like, I'm watching it, I'm like, no, it's the
Oh no,
80s.
no, it's a continuation.
Yeah, no, I for some reason thought
Hmm.
it was a prequel, so I was expecting them going back, but I'm like, okay. If these movies keep going, they're gonna do the new X-Men series where every movie's a decade. So who knows? Maybe they'll come up for the '90s, but I don't know. Um,
Hmm.
I like the Asian guy was still there. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, I don't get the daughter. Like, hey, the daughter. It's like, oh no, not the daughter. She's not here. And it's like they only care about each other. Fuck that daughter. She's with maybe the grandma.
Well,
I don't know.
she's in college. That's why.
Yeah.
Is it? But I
Well,
mean,
To me,
go
the
ahead.
thing the
okay.
daughter was
Let,
not a big
Go ahead.
thing.
let me
But anyways, how?
can I step in now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you guys actually almost talked me into giving it a green card, but
Whoa.
the
Wow, I'm
reason
surprised.
out of the three, this is my favorite one of the three.
Wow,
Okay.
Now,
that's awesome.
first one, mainly because of why Mike doesn't like it, is because it went away from the jump scares. It went away from the
Of
intensity. Because
course.
at
Hmm.
this point, it gets old really fast, and it's like
Yes.
when the jump scares are gonna come
Yes.
in. And there were a couple moments in this movie where I was like, oh, here's a jump scare, and it doesn't happen. I was like, oh, okay, we're actually focusing on something a little bit more serious. Cool.
Hmm.
And I think I like the investigation part, although I do agree it does take the main focus away from Arnie's case, which maybe is a reason why I liked it more, because
Maybe.
like what are you gonna fill in with the family and everything? Just more jump scares and just more like I'm gonna physically
Yeah.
attack you. Like again, it gets old fast, and I think maybe they're just trying something new. And I was actually really interested in the two characters, right? Patrick and Lorraine, since the
Yeah.
beginning. And I was like, yeah, they're a more interesting couple than they're led to believe. And so I like that the focus was on them this entire movie.
Seem a little bland for me. I don't know.
Well, so the thing I wanted to get to, because you were actually bringing up the daughter, right? The daughter is
Yeah.
like, why even show the daughter for like the
Yeah.
2 seconds that she was
Yeah.
in there for? I was very disappointed in the movie, where I thought it was going to go a different direction, where the father says you don't want to lead your children to your obsessions. And I was like, oh, Are they gonna like
Mhm.
just stop investigations? Like, are they gonna stop doing this? Are they gonna do it for their daughter? Like, is this about like a family thing? But like they did nothing with that. And it was just very like I said, disappointing. I was like, you had something really cool here that you could have gone with. Like,
Mhm.
they dedicated their entire lives to this and they could have, closed it off by like sending their entire house to flames and then just, finding a new place to live and just
Mhm.
kind of going on with actual normal lives for the sake of their daughter, right?
With
Because
their
their
creepy
daughter,
wallpaper house. Shit.
they keep putting their daughter at risk, like the
Yes.
last two movies. Like it's like, come on, don't you guys realize like you're doing like this is seems wrong in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like don't put your daughter into this. But yeah, they never addressed that, and it kind of sucked. The Asian guy, I'm gonna assume it's Asian guy. He looks Asian. Uh,
Yeah.
I was a little upset he wasn't in there more, and I kind of wish there was a
Yeah.
movie more focused on him because I feel like he should be taken more seriously and
The
had more
Asianing.
interesting. That's-
Oh my god.
he just seemed like he knew his shit, and I kind of like I said, I want there to be a spinoff with him in there, like him
Mm.
starring in his own role. But they didn't really do much with him. He had more of a role in the second movie, no, in the first movie,
Mm.
than he did in the second. And yeah, he wasn't even in the second one, was he?
I think he was first. Yeah, wasn't he?
He had to have been for a little bit,
I
probably.
Yeah,
think
Had
he
to
he's
have
in
been.
was.
the first and second one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so they didn't really do nothing with him. The what was the cult thing was a cool concept, but again, they did nothing with that. Like
Yeah.
it was just for the sense of like, okay, we're summoning a demonic thing, and then that's it. Like you don't really explain about the cult that much. You don't really go into that whole lore about like, like can you show me more about these cults as opposed to just saying, hey, this is happening because of a cult, and that's it. So
Ooh, a cult horror movie. That'd be cool.
I would agree. Um,
Hereditary already.
it just sets up so many potentially good things and doesn't follow through with it. And so that's why it falls short of a green for me, even though I like that it took the series a little bit, I think, more seriously than the first two, that it focused more on these two characters and more
Mhm.
about their actions and their, I guess, sense of belonging into the paranormal investigations than it did on the jump scares and the
Yeah.
horror and all that part. I think it was kind of like a interesting blend, and I'm wondering if this is like it for the Conjuring, like if this is the final
Wonder.
one, because it seems like it could just end right here and then that's it. Like we don't have to have any more Conjuring movies. But yeah, that's overall how I felt about it. I'm sure I'm leaving a couple of things out, but it's fine, it's okay.
Yeah, I assume eventually they're gonna just pick up with the daughter present time and do that spinoff possibly. But uh, I'm always like at the end it does focus on them because I'm like waiting for something bad to happen. It's like no, them just like being together and with like a happy ending, and I'm just like something gonna happen, something happen, and then like nope. I'm like okay. It always like ends at a good note between both of them. And I was gonna ask, is it this is the first one a person actually dies? Because I don't remember anyone dying in the first one or second one.
Oh, what you mean?
Actually dying, because this the guy stabs him 20 whatever times.
I think so.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, I actually get. I mean, I assume these are PG-13 movies, but
No,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
radar.
that's
these are
yeah,
rated R.
yeah, the rated R.
Mm.
That's
Huh?
another interesting thing they could have done was the whole like integrating demonic possession and Jesus Christ religion into the court system, because those are two things that you like don't normally see go blend hand. Like the whole concept of the devil made me do it. Like who the hell is really going to believe that? Like right? Like
Yeah, I,
that whole Arnie's case like should have been a focus point.
I
And
would be. I would have interested. I thought they were gonna try to like prove it in court with like their old stuff or some shit. I'm like, but I guess they can't take the liberties because it was quote unquote based on a true story. So they can't. I mean, they can, but I don't think they would.
I would have liked the whole thing with the court, like of
Yeah,
how
that's what I'm
it,
saying.
like
Yeah,
yeah, like how did people reaction, like you know what I mean, like how they presented all of this, what was the proof and everything.
So,
But
Mike, as a huge
Mhm.
fan of the franchise in general, I mean, I don't really know how you felt about the Nun and well, you said you hated La Llorona, but
Yeah.
Annabelle and all that. Would you want to see another movie in this universe? And if so, what would you want it to be about?
Good question.
One of
So,
the
well,
biggest things from Lorraine that she mentioned in interviews is that when she went to go visit the Amityville horror house,
mhm,
I would like for them to go make a film about that
okay.
because before she passed away and stuff like that, they did interview her about like what was the most like terrifying house she'd been to, and she said it was the Amityville horror that she would never go back there. So I would like for them to do maybe an adaptation of that of them. But if this is the last one, I'm fine with it. I think they had a good run. I honestly think it was just more of like an enjoying. Like it lasted. What's that saying of like it had a good run, but it had a good I can't think of it, but I'm going to end it like that because I sound like a fool right now. But it had a good run. I like it. I will watch this movie again, and it's fine. This is the last one.
Okay.
But the Nun sucked.
The Nun or La Llorona?
No, the Nun. The Nun was the worst film in this universe.
Okay, so you liked Annabelle? Did you like Annabelle, or did that one suck
Yeah.
too?
No. Well, the first Annabelle was okay. It wasn't as bad as what people said. Annabelle 2 was a lot better. And Annabelle 3 was what
There's
like
a third one?
There's not a
yeah,
third one.
yeah, that's the third one. Yeah, it was
Is it just not on HBO?
yeah, I don't think it's on HBO. I think it should be on HBO.
I
I
was gonna
think it's
say I
called
didn't see a third one. I saw
it's
only
called
two.
Home Sweet Home. I think it's called or
Really?
comes Annabelle Comes Home.
Huh.
That one was pretty
No, that's
good. That
not.
was actually like it's one of those films where you should watch with friends and just to see like their reaction because it's a lot of jump scares and it's kind of creepy, but it's fun.
So it is. They made three fucking spin-off, then sequel. Oh my god.
I mean,
DC, get your shit
him.
together.
The thing is, like, I can't really even with a good horror movie, I would not recommend it to him.
That's
But
fair.
you did say I did hear good things about Hereditary, but I never saw it.
Oh, I think the movie fucking sucked, but that's
Oh,
just me.
really? What about the summer? What the fuck?
I'm not a big fan of A24 films.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it because they run off the same exact formula where everything is based off a cult or a hallucination, and in the end, everybody dies.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, you didn't like summer, whatever.
Yeah, Midsummer.
Midsummer, yeah.
Yeah, I hate that film. I
I
was
liked it. Yeah.
it was such a snooze fest, and I already predicted everything.
Uh,
But I am interested in one film that they made, The Green Knight. For some reason, I want to watch that film.
I don't even know what that is. But in the future of them doing stuff, I mean, I don't care. I mean, it'd be interesting if they did
That's your
something,
honest.
another spin-off. I wonder what it is. I thought
Mhm.
you were gonna mention. I thought Sal had something, or he spotted a possible spin-off coming up.
The whole cult thing could be a spinoff on its own.
Hmm.
I mean, plus they also have a fucking room full of like mementos of every single thing they've done. So they have a whole room full of spin-offs.
Oh, they already did that
Yeah, but then that would have to be
with the whole like. I mean, you could probably make a movie off of all the like what Sal said. Like they could make a thing off of all the little
Yeah,
things that they
individual
have.
things. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Oh,
but
I'd
Annabelle.
watch that. If
but the
everything
la-
got loose and then they have to fight everything, I'd watch that.
Oh, that's the last Annabelle movie.
Oh shit! There you go, Ham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where Annabelle got out of the case and she released pretty much half of what's in the
But
show.
were they in the movie?
Yeah. No, Ed and Lorraine no, but
Oh, well,
the daughter and her two friends.
Oh shit!
oh, so there is a daughter. Wait,
Oh, now I gotta watch the rest of this
wait,
fucking thing.
fuck. Yeah, that's what I'm like. It has a good. I'll give it this. It has a good timeline, whatever,
Mhm.
stringing things together. I've already said that. DC doesn't. But it's she. How old is she when that happens?
She was like, I think 11.
Oh
Oh,
shit.
so it's. I thought maybe a different actress or something in the future. So it's still
Probably.
current time. They are
Mhm.
alive.
All
But
right.
no.
Well, speaking of time, let's move on to our last topic, which is the Apple keynote. Now, it was an hour and 45 minutes long, and I went through the grueling process of watching the whole thing. And these two gentlemen over here did not, which is fine because honestly, a lot of it wasn't really interesting. I mean, there was a lot of things that Apple is doing with their operating systems that they're finally catching up to, like things like Microsoft has been doing or what Google has been doing. So this keynote is the usual routine keynote of like, hey, here's our new operating systems. These are the new updates
Mhm,
for them. This is what we're going to push out in
mhm.
November when we get our new devices. I'm going to gloss over a few of them because really it's iOS 15 that I want to bring up that has the more interesting part to it. Watch OS 8. I'm just going to read these little summary things from the apple.com website. Watch OS 8. Give your portrait mode photos from iPhone a starring role on a dynamic new watch face, so you just get to put a portrait photo on your watch. Unlock your door from your wrist with home keys. Work out with Tai Chi and Pilates, and center yourself with new mindful experiences. Small updates with watch, not a huge big deal. Mac OS Monterey. Share your screen with friends and coworkers in entirely new ways with SharePlay. We'll talk about that one later. Explore a more
Mm.
immersive, customizable, and streamlined Safari, which they're just doing group
Mm.
tabs, which I don't know if you guys use Chrome enough, but Chrome does the same
No.
thing where if
No.
like let's say you have five tabs on a particular movie and another five tabs on I don't know about a theme park, you can just put those tabs in one group tab where when you click on it, it'll show you those five tabs instead of having them all listed out at the top.
So it's like Apple with the folder of, folders for apps, sort of.
Kind of, I guess, but Safari is just finally
Yeah.
getting around to it, even though
Okay.
Google's been using it for a little while now.
Yeah.
There's universal control. You can now work seamlessly between your Mac and iPad. And this was kind of cool where a guy was showing that he had his Mac desktop, right? And then he had his MacBook, and then he had his iPad. And he was working on a project on his desktop, and he could use the mouse or use any of the mouse, even on the MacBook, and kind of go through any of the screens and then drag it to any of the other screens too. So it's kind of like having three screens like in front of you to work from, all doing different things. So it's just kind of like I don't know, like I guess streamers where they have like 4, 5 monitors and they're all doing different things on there. It's the same concept as that. It was just kind
Okay.
of it was just very like smooth and seamless though with the Mac stuff.
So buy a Mac, buy an iPad, and buy an iPhone. Use the iPhone as the mouse. Use the iPad as the keyboard, and there you go.
Technically, yes.
That's what I'm hearing. I don't know. There's been occasions where I'm like, I wish I could just somehow transfer something from my phone to a computer without emailing me or emailing myself or something.
Yeah,
But
yeah. You could drag something from like your iPad onto your MacBook. Yeah.
nice.
iPad OS 15. Do more things even more easily with powerful new multitasking tools. Create notes from any app using Quick Note. Add new widgets that let you see information at a glance right on your home screen. And enjoy many of the great features also coming to iOS 15. The notes was probably like the only interesting thing about this. I'm gonna skip this one because really it comes down to iOS 15. iOS 15, like to me, like I'm not usually impressed by Apple stuff lately in the past couple years, but I actually really liked a lot of the stuff that they put into this keynote and a lot of the things that they shown because there's two things. One, very important to Ham that I think he's gonna finally flip his shit
Mm.
about, and then the other one, which is gonna make things a little bit more interesting for us in this podcast as well.
Did
So
you catch
Ooh.
the release date?
iOS 15, I don't know. I'm sure it gets pushed out in November, or yeah, I would assume November, just like everything
I
else.
guess, yeah.
All right, so the first thing I want to bring up about iOS 15 is they have this cool new little feature called live text, where you take a photo of like, let's say someone that wrote down a phone number right on a napkin or something. You take a picture of it. You can actually highlight the number on that picture, and then it'll call that number. Or let's say that you took a picture of a restaurant, all right, and it was somewhere that you went traveling in, I don't know, Paris, but you have the name of the restaurant in the background, and so someone to ask you about it and they want to know more about it, you could pull up that same photo, highlight that name of that restaurant right there on that photo, and then you can automatically like Google stuff about it or pull up
Sweet.
things about it.
That's
So
cool.
I thought that was really neat. I thought that was pretty interesting. I think you could also do the same thing with directions as well. If you need to find open up Apple Maps to find,
A
that
bar.
particular place.
Mhm.
Photos
Yeah.
and messages just got a little bit interesting in the sense that they have like a collage style. So if you're sending multiple photos, it'll put it in a little bit of a collage, so it kind of condenses the space. Or it'll do it kind of like a flip book style where it'll have one picture up at the front and you'll see that there's multiple pictures behind it, and you can just scroll through those pictures
I
in
thought
the
that was a
text
thing
messages.
already.
Well, you're thinking of like swiping left or right, like on Instagram, right? Like you're swiping left or right to the next picture.
No, I'm like you would. Oh, I'm thinking of when you. What am I thinking of? I thought that was a thing already. Like in video, maybe you have the little clips of the video that's in pieces. Or I thought that was a thing.
I'm just talking
Oh,
about like if you had like a stack of photos and you flip through them like flip book style. It'll appear the same way for you on messages. So if I sent you guys like 5 pictures like I did the other day
oh,
on
when
something,
sending.
it'll be
Oh,
it'll be
okay.
one picture right behind the other, and so
Oh, when sending.
you just have to
Okay.
scroll through it instead of just like scrolling up and down. It'll just be
Gotcha, gotcha,
right
gotcha.
there on one line.
I meant in your library when you do like a smart picture or something. It's like you can see pictures sometimes or a video, see pieces of it, but you mean actual sending them. Okay.
Well, speaking of pictures, I just want to. There's not much to say about this part other than the AI part to this, but you know how Apple kind of does like these montages for you of your pictures, like these memories, and sometimes they put it to like a film for you and everything like that.
Oh yeah, I deleted
Um,
that.
you
Yeah.
have people actually use them, and some of the ones I have are pretty nice. That's why I was a little interested in this part. But you can actually edit some of those now. You can actually change the song, change the filter, and if you don't want to pick the song yourself, it automatically picks a song for you like it does. But when you change the filter, it it identifies it as a different tone and feel to it, and so it'll pick a different song for that kind of right moment. So it's just building on the AI part of it recognizing itself and what it is that you're doing with it. But a good portion of this whole iOS
Eating.
thing was about like how it will pick up on every single thing that you're doing on this phone to give you like the best experience ever on your phone, even when Siri responds and everything like that. They went into a very in-depth conversation about it, and it sounded very interesting. I can't really explain it well. You just have to kind of watch that portion if you're even remotely intrigued.
And you're talking about the ones that show up on that on that screen that I sometimes end up on an accident going too much to the left, swiping left or right.
I guess
Left,
so.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. They also put in a weird thing called focus, where I don't know how I feel about this one, but
Mike needs that one.
I can kind of relate, but at the same time, I feel like I don't need a phone for me to do this too. So, an example, let's say you're at dinner with somebody, right? And you guys say, "Hey, no phones." But you know you're like addicted to your phone, but you can't like help yourself but look at certain things. Well, you can set a parameter where like at a certain time period, certain apps won't be active. Like certain apps won't be pop up. You won't get notifications from certain things. So like it's like kind of setting a time limit on yourself and your focus. It's weird to explain it, but my head I was thinking like I can just put my phone somewhere else. Like
Yeah.
why do I need to put a program in my phone to tell me to focus on this thing when I can just put my phone down? Like it was just really weird, but they made it seem like a bigger deal than it was. Like during work, like you could set it so you're getting notifications like maybe just from your colleagues and not from like all the rest of your friends. You can like limit like Twitter notifications or social media notifications in general. So you're just setting certain parameters to make sure the phone is only showing you things that you want to during certain time periods.
Yeah, sounds like a drug dealer saying, "Nope, not right now. You have to wait 30 minutes, then you can have your drugs."
Okay, now let's get to the two big things I want to talk about. So I don't know if we want to blow Ham's mind first, or if we want to go to something that's going to be a little bit interesting for us. I think it's going to be interesting for us going forward when we start talking about these movies or in watching these movies.
Give me the dessert first, so I can keep thinking of the possibilities of what could be.
Okay,
Whatever. I don't know.
maybe I'm wrong at this point, Ham, but just remember we haven't really gone out that much recently, so
Okay. A
just
good starting point here. Going out.
Oh God.
just think about all the times we've ever gone out to downtown and you've
Uh-huh.
forgotten your driver's license. What did we say that could help you in those moments when you've forgotten your driver's license?
My phone. Florida's been trying to do that. It's supposed to come out this year in Florida. What are we doing here?
They did it.
How? It's Florida. It's mandated by states
Can
and stuff.
can you elaborate on what's going the fuck
Oh my
on?
god! Fucking.
Your driver's license can now be officially added to Apple Wallet or whatever they call it, the wallet app, and so you no longer have to carry physically your driver's license card. You can just show it on your phone.
That can't be.
Oh no, there's a lot of questions behind it. Trust me, I know there is, and that's we've had this discussion beforehand where we talked about like why can't you just take a picture of it and just show it to the
So
people?
my wondering is it would have to be scannable, because that's the one thing everyone does is that barcode or whatever you want to call it in the back of the ID. People need to scan it or run through some machine, which I don't think it's possible with the phone, but I assume you could scan it then.
So all they showed was that it was a possibility that they're working on many different places to make sure that it is going to be
Oh,
validated.
it's
Like
not official then.
no, it is going to be pushed out starting this
Huh.
fall, but only certain states are going to do it first, and then they'll start
Uh-huh.
rolling out to all the other
Okay.
states.
I see where
I
we're
think
getting.
Florida was on the list, of course, just like
Really?
you were trying to, yeah, where you were just bringing up. But that, I mean, like I said, we've been talking about that for a while, where it's like just show them your driver's license, and then that's it. Why
Well,
can't they just accept that? And yet there are questions. It's like, how do you verify that? How do you prove that this is you? Now, again, it is tied to your iPhone, so you would obviously need your passcode to get into your phone. Also, facial recognition is a thing, so
ease.
there are ways to go about it. So I don't know what other parameters these places are going to look for, but it is just something interesting that you no longer need to have a physical
Because
driver's
yeah,
license, or may not no longer need to have a physical driver's
because
license.
Colorado already has that with the whatever in the state they have that, and I'm like,
But
fuck, I want that. I want it now.
okay, but my question is this, right? It's you know how you and I'm not talking about for us, but for other people, there's private companies that are going to ignore that for now.
Sure. Yes.
So
Yes.
if you go to a high end store, let's just say Gucci, and whatever. And I'm not saying us, I'm just saying talking for other people that I've
Yeah, I was there yesterday.
experienced. Yeah, sure. You know, it's that when you pay with a credit card, when you pay even with a debit card, you had to show a physical ID. It's
Because it's expensive.
because it's expensive, and they worry about fraud and
Yeah.
stolen credit cards and stuff like that. And there's been a lot of people that were like, "Oh yeah, I have my I don't have my ID, but I have a picture of it," and they say, "No, we need the physical copy of it." So I'm wondering how long would that take for them to accept that Apple driver license shit?
Probably a while. I mean, think about how long it took for. I mean, even now, I would say maybe
Apple Pay.
10% don't have Apple Pay, right? Like
Yeah.
majority now finally does have Apple Pay option,
Mm-hmm.
so it'll probably take the same amount of time. Also, I'm not sure if I'm remembering this right, but I'm pretty sure that the first actual location or agency they're going to test this out with is actually airport security.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, if airport,
Well,
then that's literally higher than anything else, I would say.
But imagine getting pulled over and they ask for like the physical driver license, and you show them that, and they're like,
And
"Nope,
it
we
it
want the
might have to be
physical."
like that for a while
Yeah,
until
Yeah.
officially gets rolled out, everywhere. So it may take several years, but I mean, it's the start. So
but I
That's
do
what the
highly recommend to keep your physical ID
Yeah.
with you, though,
Me
because
too.
what
If
happens?
you got it.
Yeah, but I mean, what happens if you lose your phone?
yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah.
You have your ID. It's just a backup. That's
But
the
with
whole
you,
thing.
Ham, you lose your ID and then you lose your phone.
I haven't lost my
No,
phone that much.
no drink,
ID.
Do I
no
need to
drink.
remind you the time that you went meditating in the woods?
Oh yeah, I had to go back and get it,
What
but
the
I
fuck?
got it. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay. Anyway, I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really interesting. They also showed some other things with Wallet. Disney is doing their Disney passes on Wallet now. So if you have an annual pass,
That's
it shows up
awesome.
on the wallet. You don't have to use magic bands or whatever. You just put your wallet up to the thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then there was something else. I can't remember what it was, but the last thing I want to bring up is they announced what's called SharePlay. Now, a lot of other computers and devices are already doing this, but they kind of put in a little something that I thought was interesting for us. SharePlay is now an option on fall, of course, when they push out iOS 15. That let's say Ham was listening to a song and he was like, "Hey, Mike, you should listen to this." He can just SharePlay it straight to you, Mike, without having you to do anything else. He just shares it straight to your phone. Same thing if he was surfing something on the web. He sees a website on Safari. He's like, okay, hey, Sal, I want you to check this out. He just share plays it straight to me. So there's no longer like having to send links or anything. It's just there
Yeah,
you
but
go.
how hard is it to share links?
Yeah, but it's just easier to share your screen. And that way you have control too over what you want us to see, right? You can highlight certain things. Like we're going to see exactly what you want us to see.
Okay.
Now, in general, that's all fine and dandy. FaceTime is also a share playable in a sense where like you don't a person that doesn't have an iPhone doesn't need like it can go on your FaceTime with a link. So you can now create a link for FaceTime and send it to other people if you want them in on it.
That don't have iPhones.
Yeah, that don't have iPhones.
Okay. All right.
The really interesting thing to me was that they're gonna make it to have watch parties share playable. So if you were watching a movie, Ham, you could technically share play that to us on our phones or our other Apple devices.
Is that legal?
So if right, they said that this was going to be for Apple TV, but then they mentioned other partners in on this. One of the ones I saw was Disney Plus.
Oh,
So my head was going straight to, so if I paid $30 for Black Widow, could I just share play that to you guys
No way.
and just run that? Like we'd be watching it
No.
together.
oh, they're gonna find a way to block that
Well, maybe, but like that doesn't
for
even,
now.
even if it's not Black Widow, right? Like what if it was something else? Like let's say we were deciding we were gonna watch, I don't know, the Annabelle, right? We want to watch Annabelle together. You could pull up Annabelle on your phone, Mike, and you could share play it to us, and we could be watching it all at the same time.
I think it's gonna
God,
somehow
yeah.
do a check on the app if you actually have a subscription to it. I don't think it's gonna be that easy.
Maybe, but that's not the way they were trying to sell it too. Like they were trying to sell it as like, hey, it doesn't matter. Like we want people to be connected together. So if whatever you
For a
watch,
price.
you have like all the controls and everything, and these guys can jump in on it for like with you. And we can still be on the phone. We can still be like texting each other. We can still do other things on our phone while that movie or whatever is playing in the background.
I would like to see more about this, and I'm skeptical, but I
It's-
understand the possibilities.
It sounds really awesome,
In
and
theory.
I hope, in theory, of course. But of course, we got to see if it really works. Because if you're thinking about this now, imagine actually Disney and other streaming services.
Right.
Hey, Apple. I don't know if you already heard my my new idea. Maybe because you're always listening. I want, because sometimes we're talking whatever. If we're doing a FaceTime, I want subtitles for real like instant FaceTime. I want subtitles.
Why?
Sometimes I mean, for people people who can't, are
Oh God, can you?
challenged, and for sometimes you can't hear stuff, and you're like, what the fuck did they say? I might be getting a little old, maybe,
Not
but
not that this helps, but the only thing they
That's cool.
mentioned too was that there's a way to now drown out what did they call it, like ambient noise.
probably, yeah.
So if there's like a train going in the background when Mike is talking, there's a thing where he can push on his iPhone that will actually drown out the train and we can only hear his voice.
Or just a dog barking.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, or Mexican music playing in the background.
Whew.
So.
So yeah, anyway, I would suggest, if anything, you guys at least watch the iOS stuff, because
Yeah.
that's the stuff worth watching for sure. Because it seems too good to be true, but we'll have to wait and see when all that happens come in fall. All right,
We'll see.
ready for our last segment of the episode?
Undefeated Keen. Let's go. Give money.
Yes.
I feel like this time you guys just have to text me the answer.
Okay, no
Not
problem.
in a group text, an individual text.
Wait.
Okay.
Oh, that makes sense. I was like, what? I'm like, oh, yeah.
All right, so here we go. The synopsis goes, and at this point, you don't have to wait for me to call your name. Just as soon as you have the answer, just text it to me. No looking up shit, Ham.
No, hold up. I'm looking up your name. I gotta find. Where's your fucking name at?
Following clues to the origin of mankind, a team finds a structure on a distant moon, but they soon realize they are not alone.
Wait, what is it?
Yeah, repeat that. What the fuck did I not get that?
Following clues to the origin of mankind, a team finds a structure on a distant moon, but they soon realize they are not alone.
Oh,
You said moon?
I did.
I know Mars. Distant moon? One more time, please.
Following clues to the origin of mankind, a
Oh,
team finds a structure
yeah,
on a
yeah,
distant
yeah, yeah.
moon, but they
Oh,
soon
where's
realize
your
they are
name?
not alone.
I'm still looking for your name.
It's not by who goes it first, although Mike, I feel like, would use that as an excuse.
Where the fuck is your name?
Although he hasn't sent me anything yet, so
no?
he sends it to someone else.
I'm literally just gonna send this to you through. Oh, there you are. Oh, you're since March.
Because you
um,
use a group text.
What's it called? That's
Oh
my
my
answer for
God.
right now.
Oh my God.
Hold on.
Hold on. I sent it to my wife by mistake.
Oh, she's gonna be pissed. What's it called? I'm not looking this up. I'm gonna remember this. How am I about to say it?
Okay. Oh, I got both. Oh.
You know what it is. I know what it is. It's just I can't. Fuck.
Too bad.
A,
Although
D,
I will
C,
say,
D,
Ham
E,
is the closest one to it.
G.
Really?
I'm gonna read the
H,
synopsis again, and then
I,
I'm gonna give what the answer is. All right, Ham, stop.
J, K,
The
L.
synopsis says, following clues to the origin of mankind, a team finds a structure on a distant moon, but they soon realize they are not alone. The movie is Prometheus.
Prometheus.
Wow.
What would you think it was?
Apollo 13. Because they're in the moon and there's a monster on the moon too as well.
Apollo 13 is a different fucking movie, man.
Anyway,
Apollo 13 was Tom Hanks.
This one had Patrick Wilson in it as Shaw's father. Sure.
Jesus Christ.
I hated this movie. I didn't like this movie at all.
I fell asleep.
I think I did too at some point. The second one? What do you mean second one?
Just the second one.
There's a Prometheus 2?
Yes.
Well, isn't there like aliens
What?
convert or something like that?
What are you talking
Oh, Covenant.
Covenant. That's what it is.
Oh, I think I hated that even more.
That was supposed to be.
Was that the sequel?
Yeah, that was the sequel.
Yeah,
Either way,
Yeah,
I gave up on all the Alien movies. They're all bad,
I'm
except
about
for
to
one
give
and
up on
two.
all the
I was gonna
Predator
say.
movies.
One and two.
Shit.
But guys, time to hit you up with the social media. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, MySpace,
Yes.
Instagram.
Instagram. Drunk Cop and a Teacher.
TikTok.
And hit us up. Hit us up. Oh my God, TikTok.
No.
Hit us up. Hit us
Not
up
yet.
with an email. Any questions at drunkcop.ateach@gmail.com.
Next week, what are we doing next week? Something comes out this weekend, right?
Something. Isn't it like Luca or
Fast and
something like
Furious,
that?
or is that next week?
Is that this weekend?
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
too sure. We gotta double check.
We never know what we're gonna do.
Yeah, nowadays it's all Hitman's wife's bodyguard.
Oh, is that this weekend?
No, that's a early access thing.
We'll figure it-
just
we'll
make our-
figure it
We'll make
out.
our own movie. We'll make up
Yeah.
our own movie. We'll film our own movie, and then we'll review it.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Without further ado, any closing words, gentlemen?
Tidy ho.
The hell?
Chucky, bro. Like tidy ho.
Yeah. Don't watch any horror movies. Yeah. Don't. Just don't. The end.
The end.
Later, guys.